with the mic the way it looks. Yeah.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of The Crypto Show. As you guys know, it is usually with Stevie, that's me, and my fearless colleague, comrade, and captain of crypto. He is not here today, and in lieu of him, we have an individual, engineer, a person that is way more intelligent than I, and we're going to usurp his knowledge into the world of crypto so then you guys can all walk away with more information, more knowledge to make in smart investments. If nothing else, just know more about the world of crypto. So that's what's going to happen here, and without further ado, I'm going to introduce him. He is Guy. Guy, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Right on, right on. I'm going to get into it. First, I'm going to ask Guy a few personal questions just to kind of open up the floor so you can get a sense of the man behind the magic. And then he's going to go ahead and elaborate on a variety of things that we're going to touch on today. But first, I just want to get to know you. I want the audience to get to know who you are, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to ask you a few questions just about who you are. So, who are you? What's your name? And where are you from, by the way?
I'm a guy. I'm from Los Angeles, California.
Okay.
Family originally from Israel, but I grew up here.
Okay.
Then lived in New York.
And when you say here, where is here?
In Los Angeles.
Los Angeles? Any area specific?
Well, when I was growing up, I was in the Valley,
Okay.
Sherman Oaks.
Okay.
And when I was 18, I moved to West LA, Westwood,
Okay.
Brentwood.
Okay.
More, close to the ocean.
Right. Now, out of all the places you've been here in LA, you've been to the Valley, you've been to the West Side, a little bit closer to the ocean. Do you have a favorite area in LA that you're like, that's my sweet spot?
I like being closer to the ocean. I live near Santa Monica, Venice, Marina Del Rey.
Okay. All right. That's nice. Venice Beach?
Yeah, Venice Beach is okay. A little touristy.
A little touristy.
Yeah.
Okay. If you had to pick a beach in that stretch from, let's say, Malibu all the way down to like Manhattan, I think it would be, or maybe Newport, what would you be?
I think I like Marina Del Rey recently, just because it's not as touristy. It just has nice sand.
Okay.
Nice beaches.
Nice things.
Some volleyball.
Yeah, you play volleyball?
I dabble.
Okay.
A little bit.
All right. Anybody who says that they dabble, watch out for them, right? Because that means that, you know what I mean? It's just like they're kind of like a pool shark or whatever.
For fun. I'm not that great.
No, not really.
I mean, I'm not tall enough to be great.
Okay.
Yeah, tall, right?
I don't know. I've seen a video with a dog playing volleyball. The dog was much better than I was.
Oh.
So there's that. So before you can just get into all of that, since you like the beach, I'm going to ask you, we're going to personal questions right here. Now, do you prefer, this may come out wrong, so just hang in there. Do you prefer thongs or flip-flops? I know where your mind went. Right quick, but that's what I'm talking about, the things on your feet at the beach. Do you prefer? Okay.
Yeah.
You do. Why do you
Better
prefer?
for running.
Okay.
Like if you're going to run with your flip-flops or
Okay. So, I get you.
if you need to run for some reason.
Yeah. For whatever reason,
If suddenly
one
there's
would.
like a big tsunami or some apocalyptic event comes.
He's prepared.
Yeah.
Because he has the engineer mind. He's like, checking out the humidity, the wind, all of those things come into play. And he's like, I have to have the right flip-flop type of activity on to get out of Dodge.
Right.
All right, continuing on with more stuff about you. Okay, so then that's where you're from. What are some of your passions?
Well, I like computer science. I'm originally a programmer. I don't do it as much on my free time now, but I work out. I do CrossFit.
Okay.
I like traveling.
Okay.
A lot.
All right.
Kind of exploring new cities, especially more developing countries.
Now, this is a question everybody gets asked. Now that the pandemic is slowing down and whatnot, you're a traveler. What's the first place for leisure? Straight up pleasure. What's the first place you're going to go to when you get that ticket in your hand?
Well, I was in Peru 3 months ago.
Oh, wow.
During the pandemic.
Okay,
So
wow.
I love their food.
Okay.
Their food and a lot of outdoorsy activities.
Okay.
Hiking and
All right.
zip
So
lining.
you're a fan of Peru.
Yeah, I do.
A fan of Peru and the Peruvian food. It's delicious.
Very good.
Very good. Okay, so there's that. All right, so we got a little bit of travel out of you. You mentioned that you originally were a programmer. How did you get bit with that bug? Was there just one day you were messing around and you took something, a wire, and you touched it over here and like, oh, this is my world? What?
Well, I was trying to choose my major in college. I was good at math, so that was one good option. Just because I knew I could get a stable job, and I like the problem-solving aspect.
Okay.
You know, the instant gratification you get when you solve the problem, and you can see what you built right there in front of
Okay,
you.
so that's the difference right there. He said the instant gratification. However, for those of you that are problem solvers who don't solve the problem, there is no instant gratification. That's where I would be, right? So for you, it was probably instant, like you get in there, figured it all out, but for many of us, we don't. And what's great about our show, and we're going to break it into different segments, is there's going to be many problems that we're going to talk about, but with your knowledge and your expertise and your insight, and even your opinion, you know what I mean? Just because you may know, it may lean more so on the opinion side versus a factual side, and we want to know both from you.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes, as you guys know, just because something is factual doesn't mean that it's definitely lines with your particular opinion. So that's what we're going to be able to get from Guy, is both ends of that. Now, Guy, your current position is what, and then how did that happen?
Yeah, so I'm the president of My Digital Money. How that happened, probably a long story, but after college, I went and worked as a programmer in various jobs. And then after maybe about 6 years, I founded a consulting company focusing more on data analytics, helping corporations, grow and be more efficient, and leverage data to make better decisions.
Nice.
And basically modernizing systems, kind of taking advantage of new innovations. And I like being part of, being at the forefront of helping companies develop in society and governments, develop, leverage technologies, like cloud and AI and all of that.
Right.
And so I did that, and then after our company got acquired, and I've been there for 2 years, I was just thinking, what is next? And I wanted to get more to blockchain. Like I started researching blockchain because I had a few banking clients, and they were researching how their innovation department was researching it, and I went to a few conferences and I learned more about it.
Nice.
And I just saw like endless applications, and I thought, hey, this is still at its infancy, and it's probably another major innovation that's coming, and I want to be involved in that.
Right at the forefront of it.
Yeah, and at the same time, I realized that my approach to investment as an engineer all these years was wrong, because I started hanging out more with people in New York, because I'd lived in New York the last 10 years, and they were smarter about having their money work for them. My money was sitting in a savings account. So I started kind of looking at, how do I leverage my money, how do I invest in it? I believe in this blockchain technology, so all my friends were investing in crypto, so I'm like, let me take advantage of this asset and become smarter and not have to work long consulting hours the rest of my life.
Right.
So I started investing in that, and then Colin, the founder and the CEO, we know each other through mutual friends for many years, started talking about how he wanted to start this company.
Oh, wow.
And it was perfect. It was just a perfect timing, because I was looking to get into this new industry and looking to kind of improve as an investor and share that knowledge with other people.
Nice.
And kind of in doing that, contribute to the development of this industry.
Nice.
By helping give people information that I had by going to these conferences and by just learning on my own.
Yeah.
I thought, I could help others take advantage of this misunderstood and, I think understood or researched field.
Right. Well, what I really like about what you said was that the blockchain had like a certain kind of attraction to you, and you became kind of self-made on it. You kind of like took the interest in your own hands and said, I need to figure this out. I'm really, really curious about how this whole thing works, and you educated yourself on it.
Yeah.
That helped lead you get to Colin, which you already knew for years, and you guys never talked about crossing paths before, huh?
Not as much, but yeah, I was very, very close friends with his wife from high school, and yeah, we've been friends for 15 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, we talked about business, here and there. He knew that I was really about, I was on the engineering side of business, so I had been a business leader, a COO and CTO, but I was more kind of on the operational side.
Right.
You know, helping make processes efficient, and I would analyze his business and how he can improve his business from a technological standpoint. He's more the sales guy, so always like good complementary skills there.
Right.
But it was just more just talking, just to exchange ideas.
Okay.
We never were serious about starting anything together.
Okay. But now here you are.
Recently, when I became available to do something new.
Yeah.
And Colin wanted to start this new business. He had this idea, and it was a good opportunity that he presented to me.
And now you're here.
And here I am.
How long have you been here?
So I mean, we started working on it. I started working with him on it in August of last year. So almost a year.
Almost a year. I'm going to dive right in, man. You mentioned about being a project manager. You seem to be a global in it. Right? Like you've kind of been around, right? Just before we get into the specifics about finance, I just want to know, what are 3 favorite places that you've gone to around the world? I know you mentioned Peru, but that was for pleasure. But as far as you being a project manager, what are like a few places around the world that you, at least 2 places that you were like, that was really great for me having a worldwide experience as a project manager?
Yeah. Well, one of them I'd say is India. So we opened an office in India back in 2010, and that was a great experience. Just learning how to work with a different culture, and just learning how to navigate. Just a whole brand new culture.
And that was in 2010. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm sure the climate. I don't know if the climate's the same or different, but anyhow, you were there in 2010. That was really good. What's another place?
London. Yeah.
No.
So we started our business. It was in London. So I just enjoyed being there and being able to fly to other countries. It was so close to go to France or Germany. And be able to have clients in Europe and just jump for a week to a client. And it's again experience different cultures in business.
Now, when I travel, one of the things I like, I love the architecture. I love the different things that the city can offer. But what's most important for me when I go anywhere is really the people. You know what I mean? Like I really, really kind of like enjoy the people, the stories, the attitude that they have, and et cetera, et cetera. Was there anything specific about either one of those 2 places that you enjoyed about the people?
In India, I just enjoyed the hospitality that I got from people, and just how intelligent they were, and just good workers. In Europe, I think I worked a lot in Belgium, and this style is a little bit different, like a little bit more top down than bottom up, which was different.
Okay, you mean as far as like the leaders?
Yeah, a bit more authoritative, which there's pros and cons to both styles, but it's a good balance, like for me to also
witness.
To see like another way of managing a company that's a little more like, here's the action. I'm not going to ask you for the opinion. Like, and not everyone would operate that way, but with specific clients that I work with, I got to see a more authoritative style.
Well, that's good. You get a nice little walk away experiences from around the world. You can take a little bit of that, maybe 8% of how somebody does something, and put it into your own thing. And
you get different perspectives is important. And I believe in also having diverse teams. Because you just get better at problem solving.
Okay. Now, you talked about the blockchain. You talked about how you got hooked up with Colin and how you were the manager, world travel, et cetera, et cetera. Crypto. Let's go there. How did you get exposed to crypto? Do you have any crypto? What's your feeling about crypto?
I got exposed to it when I first went to a conference about blockchain in New York. I'd heard about it, but I learned a lot more about the technology, and then all my friends would always talk about Bitcoin. My brother-in-law would always preach it. He's like, you need to get into this, like years ago. And so I just heard a lot about it, and I just started researching it to see, what is really the application of this, and aside from it being a decentralized store of value, I realized there's a bunch of other utilities to these other cryptos.
Right.
Like Ethereum has a lot of utility that can advance the whole financial industry as a whole. And so yeah, so I just started believing in.
So you saw more
future
than
of it.
yeah, you saw the future of it. You saw more than it just being an investment opportunity and whatnot. Because some of us get into crypto, you hear about it at a barbecue, and somebody's like, "Yeah, you should get this," and you just got to buy into it. There's nothing wrong with that. Some other people are like, "You know what? I really don't like how the government's doing things, and I want to have an alternative way in order for me to, procure and lock down my financial transactions and et cetera, et cetera."
Yeah, and also just the way that I always approached investment was the wrong way. I mean, the way I was building my wealth is just investing in myself in education and then making sure I have a good paying job.
Yeah.
And the job I had did very well, and I was able to save a lot of money and put that in a savings account. But then I was waiting for like the perfect investment. Oh, let me wait for this perfect real estate deal or whatever. But what I was realizing is that my money was losing so much value, and I knew that it was losing some value because of inflation.
Right.
But it's not until later when I was more surrounded by people in business school and my friends who are savvy investors in New York and. That I realized how much value it's really losing. That inflation is much more than just 2%.
Right.
And, I need to just do something, even if it's something more risky. It doesn't have to be just real estate, but if you look at over the long term, even just investing in stocks, or although it's ups and downs, over the long term, it goes up.
Yeah.
So I should do something with my money long term instead of just leaving it in a savings account.
Like let it slip through like sand through your fingertips a little bit. Just
right, because I can't continue also to work these consulting hours. Like, what about later? And like, as I started getting older, I'm like, I got to think ahead a little bit more.
Right.
And how do I have my assets work for me? I see my friends doing well, getting rich, and I'm providing a lot of value, delivering a lot of value in my job. Like, but what about me? So and then as I believe more in crypto, I'm like, this could be a good asset to invest in.
Nice. Nice. What I really like about that, many of us can attest to this situation. We are attached to a job that we love, hopefully. We are we're kind of on that treadmill making things happen. We save a little bit of money, and we're kind of taking the long route to investing. And I think that you were caught there for a little while. Then you kind of got off that treadmill a little bit, looked around and consulted with some people who were using their money. They were working smarter, not harder, right? And so that's where you've kind of elevated.
I think I was a bit risk averse. Maybe part of it is being an engineer as well. Is like I want to deal with solvable problems and what I can touch, and a lot of times I just was a bit safe, right? But I realized that it's not going to get me where I want to be.
Safe is not going to necessarily land you to your bigger dreams.
Right. And so I decided to be riskier, but I'm a data guy, right? I come from data, like that company I talked about, the consulting company was all about leveraging data. And so I try to still reduce my risk by learning as much as I can about what I'm investing in. And so I take more of a I try to still take an empirical approach and learn as much as I can to reduce my risk.
Right.
It's a riskier investment, but you can still reduce your risk by doing your research.
Now, here's my question. Is there anything about the makeup of you as an engineer that creates some principles that can be applied to actually investing?